Hello and welcome to the May update from Medway. In this video we're going to be looking at me having a go with the 12A Models NEM sockets and using it on a coach to replace the big D couplings. We'll have a look at some new arrivals to Medway. Also I've been doing some work on putting HM7000 decoders into a couple of locos now that Hornby have downloaded the some new of their sound profiles. So we'll have a look at that. A little bit of work has been done on the scenics, not as much as I hoped. As if you remember in the last video, the weather had improved and I was expecting to be able to get into the garage more and doing some work I needed out in the garden where I can use a table. And lo and behold, the weather changed and it was quite chilly. Today, we're in the first week of May, or second actually. And it's a lovely warm day, so let's hope it continues. So yeah, let's crack on. Okay, so like probably a few of you, I've still got coaches that are in nice condition, run well, but have the big D couplings on them and not in NEM pockets. They're sort of either welded or clipped in or what have you. And they don't greatly mix and match with the small NEM couplings. So I was looking for a solution that I could somehow get rid of those, have an NEM socket, and that gives me the choice of what couplings I want to use, tension locks or magnetic. So I saw the NEM conversion sockets from 12A Models. And what I liked about them is that they've got the socket and then sort of like a towel to the end, which you can cut, and they got holes in so you could screw it in, and you can then adjust the distance. So I thought, let's give them a go. So I got a pack, and let's see how I got on. Okay, so I still have quite a few Hornby coaches which are in good nick, but have these big D couplings, which are fine when they are together with another big D and don't look too bad. But the issue is when you are trying to pull them with a loco that has the smaller couplings, such as those. And what I found is that they tend to be sort of derailments. So 12A Models have got very handy coupling replacements with NEM pockets. And if we have a close look, and as you can see, there's two holes. Well, these are what I would call towels to the square socket. You can cut them to size. You can use the holes to screw on. I've just done it with this Hornby coach, and as you can see, it works quite well. Now, the resin they use seems to be quite pliable, quite strong, and doesn't seem very brittle where has been some problems with the hunt couplings. So I put this on the loco, and we'll see that how it actually runs. Okay, that's from 12A Models. Hornby released a couple of new sound profiles for their HM7000 decoders. One being the Class 121, the bubble car, and the other was a Class 153. I've got a Daypole bubble car, and also I have a Hornby Class 156. So I thought, let's have a go at putting sound in those. For the Daypole bubble car, I used one of Richard's upgraded speakers. This little square one that fitted nicely in and produced good sound, which hopefully you'll be able to hear shortly. And secondly, in the 156, I used, because there's not too much space in there, a thin mega bass speaker, which did improve it a lot. Previously I'd put in one of the Hornby sugar cubes in their enclosures, and I had to use a small one, and it wasn't too great. So yeah, I'm pleased with that, and we'll have a look at a little bit of footage. Couple of new arrivals to Medway. One, I suppose, isn't really a new arrival because I've had it almost a year, but it's newly out the box, and that is a Bachmann 4TC in the London Underground livery. I purchased that because I got the Accurascale Class 50 in the Hanson and Hall livery, and Hanson and Hall run their 50 with the 4TC in the London Underground livery on rail tours. So that would work perfectly. And also I've got the Accurascale Class 66 on pre-order in the London Underground map livery, so I'll run those with as well. I'm glad to report that they run beautifully, lovely detail. I've got lighting in, and I'll add some passengers as well, so that'll be a new project. But pleased with that, and we'll see some running shots. Second new arrival. Now, all the purists and river counters, close your ears now, because I've bought a Hellion Class 47. Now, I'm not going to go into the Accurascale takeover and what have you, but they are now at under £100. I would agree with the comments that they were wildly overpriced, but with Helgen reducing their prices, they are now become quite a decent offering. I suppose you could compare them with the Hornby Railroad, and I have a few of those. They're much heavier, they have lighting in, the detailing's better. Yes, the front is apparently so badly wrong, but I've compared it with one of the railroads and it's not too different. And I think if you're not going to be running them with a Bachmann or a new Cavalex when they come out, will you notice too much difference? They seem robust, so they'll survive the handling, which I have to take my stock on and off. Plan was to put a HM7000 in it. The one I got was the Key Model World limited edition in the Porter Book livery, and that was down to £95. I thought with the HM7000 decoder, you've got sound for around £150. I've got it out, and we'll see it on the rolling roads, and it runs perfectly. I got the body off, but I then found that the factory fitted speakers are 4 ohm, and the Hornby 7000s will only work with 8 ohm speakers. So I have seen that you can remove the speaker enclosure, but it does mean removing the PCB board, and there are some very thin wires plugged into it. And I'm just thinking, dodgy eyes, clumsy fingers, one of those gets pinged out and we're in a bit of trouble. So I think what I will do is via Roads and Valves, they have easily ESU or SWD decoders that have got the FIF sound files, so that'll cost me, I think it's £100. So effectively a sound fitted loco for 200, and in hindsight I could have picked up the sound fitted one already. So £200, is it good value? I think it still is, because most sound fitted locos now are over 250. Could I have picked a Bachmann one up for cheaper? I probably could, but I'm still happy with the purchase. So we'll see a few shots of it, but of course we'll have to wait until the decoder arrives. So there we are, new arrivals. Okay, so that's the end of May's update. And thank you very much, as always, for tuning in and your continued support. As I say, perhaps not as much was achieved as I hoped, but what was nice is that the club was asked by Medway Market, which is a new venture that's, I think on a monthly basis, is going to be at the Chatham Historic Dockyard. It's a bit like a traditional market, but they asked if we could take one of our layouts, just as there's something different. So we took the O gauge layout, and that's one where folks, young and old, can have a go because it's operated via a tablet. So James very kindly asked if I would give a hand. So there was me, James, Bernard, Dave and Julie. And we had a cracking day. It was really nice. The layout is going off to Loxley Models exhibition. And we'll also be down at the Hornby One-to-One Day. So if you're at any of those, come by and say hello. But as always, let's finish off with some running shots. There's a couple of things that I picked up from Strood and Alsa Station. So there's a bit of live stuff, as it were. And it only goes for me to say, of course, thank you very much for watching. Stay safe. Happy modelling. Cheers now.